What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to tie a spoon fly, and this is something that I had wanted to tie for quite a while. Let's see if I can grab that. Well, you'll see it more. But this is something that I wanted to tie for a couple of years, and I just got around to ordering everything I need. Everything you need for this you get at Sightcast. Sightcast Fly Fishing. But you get the 18 spoons. And this is in silver. I have chartreuse and gold. And I also bought these hooks, which are special for the spoon fly, so you don't have to try to bend the hook or do any of that. And this is a size 2. So I've tied a few of these for myself, and they're really not that hard, even with my limited hand function. I think the hardest part of it is just getting the spoon directly on the hook to where it sits right. But this is the chartreuse. And these, they have a lot of different colors. I plan on ordering more colors because I do like these. The resin takes a little while, but it's a really neat looking fly. Not so much as a traditional fly, but I like to catch fish, so I'm gonna fish whatever I have that will catch fish. Using mono thread, I think this is 0.006. And we're gonna do one in gold. So really the only materials you need is your hook, the spoon fly cutout, and crystal flash. So really simple. And then of course your resin, or if you do the 5-minute epoxy. The spoons, they also have a adhesive back on them, so that if you want to, you can stick others together. So you could do like black or purple, you could do silver chartreuse, gold chartreuse. You can do them in a lot of different colors. Like I have silver chartreuse, I have gold and chartreuse. I didn't do gold and silver because the back of the cutout is already kind of silver looking. But they also have the backings that they call them crush backings. You can get glow in the dark, you can get the pearl, you can get all kinds of different colors. It's really cool. And this is something that I'm planning on taking to an upcoming trip to Florida. So we'll see how it does on the surf, which will be my first time fishing the surf from my track chair and with a fly rod. So just getting the mono started. We're going to work it down the hook. If you've never tied with mono, it can be a little tricky, but it's not too bad. Now we're going to take our gold crystal flash. I'm not really sure how many strands you really need here. I just grab a small clump because I double them over. Makes it easier for me to tie them in. If I can grab any out of here. Probably a bit much, so 4 or 5. You can do more, you can do less, depending on your preference. Alright, now that we got our crystal flash, we're going to go ahead and you want to work it down the hook a decent ways. I'm still kind of learning these, so I'm just doing them to what I think looks good. If I could grab and get the flash around my bobbin. Seem to be having a little more problem with it today. There we go. And you want to try to keep this right on top of the hook, just going back. Now what you can do, or what you should do, is take one of your cutouts. So you gotta try to grab here. And measure it on the hook, so you get an idea of how far back you need to go. Yes, I need to go down the hook a little further. I think probably to about right there. I'm just going to secure the crystal flash down. And make sure it's where I want it. And then you can come in and trim it. Again, length is probably more up to you. I try to stagger it a little bit so it's not all even. But I've just been going to about right here on my vise. But once I fish them, if I think they're too long, then I can always trim them while I'm on the water. Now I'm going to take my thread up and I'm going to do a couple of half hitches where I can reposition my hook. I found that to be the easiest to try to get for me anyway, to get the cutout directly on top of the hook. All I do here is just move it down. Alright, and now we'll take it on back. So on the spoons, you have a fat end and a pointy end. I had to look at it on the tutorial that Sightcast was given on their website. And from what I can see, the fat end goes back. So like I said, there's a shiny side and then you have your color side. I do the color side out. I guess you could do it in as well. I want the gold out, so I'm going to try to get it. and check it several times. You want to make sure it's right on top. And then fold it over. Make sure your tag is, make sure you have it far enough back. This, I need to untie it and come back just a bit more. To about right there. I think that's going to be good. We'll check it. Yep, that looks good. I'll throw a couple half hitches so I can reposition my hook. Or at least one half hitch. That's just easier for me because of the weight of the bobbin. It'll usually pull the hook down or pull it out of my hand. There we go. We'll take our thread all the way back. Leaving a little bit of room, because now we're going to take some more of the gold crystal flash. And tie it in. And you want to tie this straight back all the way down. Now I'm going to take my thread back up, cut this excess off, and then do a couple half hitches and get it on the bobbin cradle. So we're going to wind the crystal flash up the hook. It looks good instead of just having bare hook against the silver side of this backing. There we go. Now we're gonna take our crystal flash here and I'm gonna use my hackle pliers because I have to. If you have working fingers, then you can just grab it and wind it up the hook. Unless you miss a couple. Alright, I like to take it and spin it a little bit. Alright, I like to take it and spin it a little bit. Just makes it easier wrapping it forward where you're not getting strands sticking way out in front. I just found this to be the easiest way for me. And I will take it and start wrapping this forward. Doing close touching wraps. Rotary vise really helps. Let's spin this up just a bit more. Mine doesn't look as neat this time. I can see some spots through there, but should be fine. And we're going to tie this off. We'll get our heckle pliers out. A lot of the little imperfections will be covered up by the resin, so you don't have to sweat it too much. Now take your cutout, pull it over, and again, do your best to get it even on both sides, directly on the hook. Once you like it, go ahead and tie it down. Get this little tag end out of here. And finish tying it down. And now we'll go ahead and whip finish. Using mono, I like to do a double whip finish just while I'm working on it with the resin. I don't have to worry about it coming undone until I can get resin to that point when I'm ready. Alright, now that we got the tying done, we're going to get some resin on it. And if you had the stuff, then I guess you could do the 5-minute epoxy or whatever your preferred method is. I'm going to use Solaris Thin. And I always like to start on the bottom. Go ahead and get my light handy. Go ahead and get my light handy. I like to start on top of the Crystal Flash first and just kind of work it around, because you're going to have a bit of a gap between the spoon and the hook. So I like to get it set right there first, and then I go and do the rest of it. And when you have the light on here, this aluminum does get pretty warm while you're curing it. Might give it plenty of time to cure, and then we'll move on. Alright. Now you can start from front, back, wherever you just want to get it spread out all over the spoon. Get the edges really good. You can take your bodkin and sit there and fill up any little holes or anything that's not covered. I think that looks pretty good. This is not only going to stiffen up the material, but then it's going to make it way more durable. Anything with teeth or big redfish, anything that's going to really damage it. And I like to build this stuff tough, that way I can catch plenty of fish on it before I have to tie more of them. Just give that ample UV. Now what I like to do for doing the opposite side is taking my hook and flipping it around backwards. Just easier said than done. And then doing the opposite side. So it kind of looks like I have a little bit of a kink in it where I might have pushed too hard when I was curing it. That'll be alright. Get this side of the Crystal Flash. And then move it around as needed. Make sure and then cure it down really good. You can always take it and set it in the sun, and then cure it down really good. You can always take it and set it in the sun. It's usually what I do to finish the curing process. But don't really normally have a problem with it being tacky. Alright, now we can do the top. Alright, now we can do the top. You might be better at doing resin than I am, so I'm still trying to figure out the easiest way to do it. If I should do it all in one or just do half. I tried doing half the other last time and it just kind of turned out blotchy. So whatever method works best for you. But again, you just want to cover the entire surface. Get on the edges really good. Just look at it, see if you have any spots that you missed. Move the resin around on it. I think that looks pretty good. Just look at it, see if you have any spots that you missed. Move the resin around on it. I think that looks pretty good. Spin it around a few times just to make sure. And give it plenty of UV. Like I said, pretty fun fly to tie. Not really too challenging. Takes me a while just because the reality of me tying flies with my hands, everything takes longer. But for the most part, these aren't too hard to tie. You can get them done pretty quick. You can tie up a bunch of them and then come back and do all the resin or your epoxy and then get them out on the water. Looking forward to seeing what I'll catch with these. I know they're popular for redfish, but I'm gonna try them on the surf and just see what will bite them. Well, there you go. That's it. It's the spoon fly. Hopefully y'all can see that good. Really cool idea for a fly. Like I said, it's not traditional, but it is really neat and they're fun to tie. So get over to Sightcast, order you some up, tie up a bunch of them and get out and do some fishing. I hope y'all enjoy the video. Leave a thumbs up if you do, subscribe if you're new, and hopefully I can cut this video down to where it's not as long. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoy it. Get out and do some fishing, and I will catch y'all in the next one.